in the art of having your will be done. Something demonic, unrighteous, just to procreate. Just close your eyes. Hello guys and dolls, welcome to Salt and Culture. I am Chichi Mambo, and this is the third episode of The Love Academy. It is the third out of 4 episodes that I'm going to be putting out here, and the rest we're going to be carrying it over to another platform, or maybe think about dropping it at another point in the year. But this is the first season, right, of the Love Academy series. So I'm super excited today because we're going to be talking about something incredibly important. And before we delve into that, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you're not part of it. Like, the biggest way you can say thank you, because you can never truly repay a teacher when you've actually learned or absorbed something. But what you can do here is you can like the video and you can share with those you think who need it, and you can also subscribe, right? It's a big thank you and I'd really appreciate it. And at the end of the video, feel free to drop comments on your thoughts about the subject. But today we are going to be talking celibacy.
Birds flying high, you know how.
There have been several conversations about the idea and the concept of celibacy, especially from people who practice Abrahamic religions, Islam, Christianity, without context, right? This is not including the people who, and a very, very few, probably 1% of the practitioners of these Abrahamic religions really delve into the core and really have any context and have masters and forms of initiation to really understand what they're learning. But in general, there is the concept of celibacy when it comes to sex and love, etc. And that's really what I want to be delving into. There is this general misconception that being celibate makes you pure, brings you closer to God, brings you closer to getting the things that you want in life. And a lot of the relationship gurus that are coming from that context are constantly screaming and preaching and saying, all you have to do is make sure that you're pure, make sure that, you know, prior to marriage that you're celibate, like you're not, or you're abstinent, right? That you're abstinent, you're not engaging in any sexual activity, virginity, purity culture. In fact, yes, that is the culture. It's called purity culture, that is centered on the idea of celibacy. Right. First off, I think it's important to understand the difference between celibacy and abstinence, which people seem to use these words interchangeably, and they're not the same. Abstinence means having, you know, when it relates to sex, obviously, right? Not in every context, but when it relates to sex, abstinence literally means no sexual contact, no sexual activity, nothing sexual at all. However, celibacy is the practice, the conscious practice of abstinence, the choice itself to practice abstinence. So in the context of sex, abstinence would be having or no sex whatsoever. But celibacy would be the choice to practice that abstinence of no sex. Okay? So therefore, it is a choice. That is why spiritual people or priests, priestesses, when they say they are practicing celibacy, it's not like they're kissing, they're in romantic this, that. No, they're literally practicing no sex whatsoever. So the practice, celibacy, so to speak, has often been used as part of purity culture. And it's quite dangerous because, in essence, human beings are mostly sexual beings, right? Mostly. There are some people who are asexual, but human beings are solely sexual beings. And so when they're saying these, you pulling in celibacy as a form of purity culture and purity, it is highly, highly problematic, because celibacy, or the act of sex and removing the act of sex, has nothing in essence to do with purity. of the body or of the mind or whatnot. No. Why? Because sex is absolutely normal. It's like eating food. It is like eating food. It is normal. It is okay. It is acceptable. It is very healthy. It is good. And it does not have to always be in a space of marriage. Absolutely not. For it to be healthy. No. And that is the problem. Trying to teach people through religion about navigating sex navigating celibacy from the standpoint of looking at sex as something demonic, unrighteous, just to procreate. Just close your eyes. Like some Jewish people do, some Christian people do, some Muslim people do, right? It's dangerous, highly problematic, and downright wrong. When I say, and I really want you guys to deep this, it is very much like, sex is very much like eating. It's pleasurable, it's good, and it's healthy. You overeat, wahala day. You undereat, wahala day. You oversex, wahala day. You undersex, wahala day. It's very healthy at a point in your life, right? So, when under spiritual laws and people who really understand whatever spiritual laws and spiritual concepts and whatever they've decided, what spiritual practice they've decided to work with that helps them and actually does grow their soul. These practitioners, these high priests and high priestesses, right? In essence, when they speak on the practice of celibacy, is very much like the practice of fasting. It is a sacrifice, a form of sacrifice. So, and this is very deep, and we'll delve into more of this. We'll launch out and branch out into more of this when we're done with this series, with the loves part of the portion of it. But I just want to dig down a little bit, right? It is a form of sacrifice. So if you are an asexual person, you cannot walk around talking about celibacy. You're abstinent. If you're an asexual person who is never or who has been abstinent their whole lives, virgin, blah, 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 and you're asexual too, you cannot speak on celibacy. Because in the spiritual context, it is a form of sacrifice. For example, how if you speak to Catholics, like really staunch, really learned Catholics about Lent, for example, if you're vegetarian already, giving up meat is not giving up meat. It's not in your practice, not what you do. Meat is not what you do. You do not derive pleasure, therefore there is no sacrifice. So you would have to find other means of sacrifice. So maybe if your sacrifice is broccoli is your thing, like, oh, if you don't have broccoli, there's so much pleasure in it, then that is a sacrifice that you would say, I'll be broccoli-less for the month of Lent. And this is how celibacy works. When you are in the art of witchcraft, of crafting, of having your will be done, or calling on the divine to help you get something that you want, whether it's passing an exam, finding a partner, whatever the case may be, and you decide, I want to sacrifice to bring that thing closer, to really mesh my emotion and my being with exactly what I want through my sacrifice. That is one way. But it's an art of the craft of witchcraft, because being in a state of flow means you accept everything that the universe brings as it brings. You do not study for exams. You do not fight this. You do not look for, no. If you're hungry, whatever food is around, you eat. If you're thirsty, whatever drinkable water is around, you If there's no butter and you like butter, that's being a state of flow. You're not forcing anything. You're not looking for anything. You're just there. And as human beings, we are born with desire. Most of us are born with desire. And because we are born with desire, we want to go beyond the scope of, or the state of flow. You desire things and you want then your will. You want that thing that you want, that desire to be, to manifest. Your will, you want your will to happen. And so you invoke all the elements and you call on the divine for help. And in order to bring it closer to you and to make that thing so-called manifest in your reality, like love, you are not practicing celibacy for purity. You are pure. You are born pure. You are practicing it in a form of sacrifice. So, if you're an asexual person again, you cannot be celibate as a form of sacrifice. It is stupid and it is useless. Relinquish it. You can use many forms to sacrifice, many things to sacrifice. I suggest focusing on yourself, not on other people's wills and stuff. That's getting into dark magic and whatnot. But you can sacrifice so many things. So celibacy is only one thing, and that is something they do not teach a lot of you, and I really hope this helps you share with who needs it. Celibacy would only work if you're doing it the right way, or else ask anybody who is truthful and honest. If you go on a journey of just celibacy, it could be that you were hypersexual being. Just anything you saw, you refuse to control yourself for this. It's just like eating. You just ate for your emotions, ate for so many reasons, you overate. It's the same with sex. For so many reasons, you will oversex. And in that case, you can decide, I want to make this constructive sacrifice to explore other things. In that case, it is constructive. So celibacy is not constructive for everyone. In fact, celibacy is destructive for some people. If you need to activate your sacral chakra, if you need to activate it to elevate, to grow your soul, because all of this is to grow your soul or to manifest what you want, then there's sex magic for that. And that requires other forms of sacrifice. That isn't really celibacy, but it does entail maybe short moments of withholding, of even engaging in the act of sex without releasing, or releasing with your partner. There's so many forms of sex magic. It's incredible. And there's so much magic also with celibacy. There's so much magic also with celibacy. And that is what I need you guys to understand. Celibacy, when you have decided that practice, please learn spiritual laws. Stop blindly following religious texts without context. If you're doing this with Christianity, find the Christian witches who know what they're doing when it comes to love, so that you're steered and you're guided in the right direction of how to go about this. Maybe yours is sex magic and maybe yours is celibacy. Whatever you decide to do to tap closer emotionally and bring and make manifest that which you want with, love in your life. You need that context. You need to figure out which one it is for you, which way to go. It needs to be constructive for you, the individual. And which is why I'm always pushing for spiritual understanding and context and learning history and finding teachers who know what they're doing, who resonate with you, who you can learn from. So I hope you go away today understand the difference between abstinence and celibacy. One, I hope you go understanding that there are ways to manifest through different crafts. And when I say witchcraft, please, I hope you're not listening to this thinking that I'm talking about dark magic. That is a form of witchcraft. The same, and it happens in all Abrahamic religions. If you study the Kabbalah with the Jews, you understand there is dark magic there. With Christians, there is dark magic there. With Islam, there is dark magic in every single religious system, Abrahamic religious system. There are levels. The text that they have given the populace and all of you guys to read is just that, to control the masses. Please delve into studying the history, studying the context of every spiritual system that you decide to work with in order to grow your soul. And I can promise you this, when the foundation is love, you will succeed, sometimes even at an exponential level. So while we're all on the journey to find love, who is who we are love itself, to tap into the love within, and also make manifest the love without in terms of romance or communal love. But here we're talking about romance for the most part. It is 100% possible and happens way quicker when the foundation is love. That is the witchcraft I'm talking about. Okay? Not the dark magic that, that stomps on the will of others. It is very destructive, and you need to be ready for the harm that it can, you need to be ready to accept the harm that can come with that. All right. I love you guys so much, and I really hope this helps. Please, if you have any questions, drop the comments in the comment section. And until next week, I've been Chichi Mambo for Salt and Culture, and this has been our 3rd episode of the Love Academy. Ciao.